Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am a new YouTube channel here to display my artwork, and today we're going to be getting into this red head that I colored. It was about 3 a.m. in the morning actually, so it was really late. I do draw late at night. I don't know why, it's just kind of when I have the best energy. So I'm going to start with a simple line and fill using a pencil or an ink pen brush here on my IBIS paint program. And I line the eyeliner first. I really like extremely thick eyeliner. Don't ask why, I just like it. I don't like it in real life though, which is strange, but I do like it for my pictures and the artwork, so I'm just going to fill that in. There are much easier ways to go about filling in your artwork on digital programming, but I personally am not familiar with those, so I do just go in as if I'm drawing or coloring at my desk by hand. And that's just how I use the program. If you want to use all the tools that they have available, feel free to learn that. This is just how I do it personally. I enjoy the process. In real life, this took me about an hour, maybe an hour 30, I would say. And here I just kind of cut the video up into about an hour total for you guys. The extra 30 minutes were me getting up and going to get something to drink out of the kitchen, or I kind of got stuck on what it was that I wanted to do, which you'll see later in the video. I just started kind of freestyling because it was supposed to be red all throughout, but for some reason I went ahead and put yellow eyeshadow on her face. I don't know why I did that, but I did like the outcome of it. And when I do my eyelashes, I have the force fade out preset on all of my brushes. I think that just helps with the flicking motion, and the fade out of the eyelashes are very pretty to me, and it helps to create my personal style digitally. And so that was the easiest part out of everything. Okay, so here we're going to be adding a second layer because we're going to be getting into the skin tone. Now, when doing the skin tone, you're going to be jumping in between 3 layers at most, I believe, maybe 2 or 3. I typically jump between the base layer and then the highlight and shadow layer as well. And right now I'm laying out my color palette for the colors. I do want to start doing more dramatic shadowing and highlighting, but I am a beginner, so there are times where sometimes I do need to kind of go a little harder with my artwork. I do be scared to take that chance because I'm like, if I mess it up, I'll easily get confused as to which layer needs to be erased or what I can fix possibly. And that deep raspberry shade will be my blush. However, I didn't really put it on a lot of the blush, so maybe I'll go back a little more next time. I'm gonna start with my base color, and I'm gonna put a double layer of the base color on, just so it'll be a little more prominent and give me the skin tone that I want. I'm using a textured airbrush setting on my brush palettes, and I have the opacity down to a medium level. It's not all the way at 100%, and I have the brush as big as it'll possibly go, so that it will just kind of glide over the skin very easily without it being patchy. And I'm just going to go ahead and erase that color off of the rest of the photo, which is just the hair and the sweater. And once I do that, I'm going to start a new layer and lock it to the skin tone layer, which will help keep you from going outside of the face again, so you won't have to go through this erasing process again, because it is tedious and time consuming. I think I spent a good majority of my time erasing, but that's neither here or there. I'm not going to get into that. I know that there are tips and tricks that you could use on digital artwork. I know, like the magic wand or the lasso and the bucket settings. However, I sketch a lot, and by sketching, my artwork does not connect in a lot of different places, so I can't use the magic wand because I have gaps in between my drawing and my line work, and that creates problems for the computer to pick up what it is exactly that I'm trying to do. So here I'm going in with like almost a bronzer type of shade. It was supposed to create shadow, but I guess it's really creating depth in her face and just adding color. I'm still working on my skin toning and what it is that I want. I don't know if I want an airbrush look or if I want a color pencil look, which I have tried as well. I'll probably do that on my next artwork just to see the difference and how it affects the piece. But here I'm just adding shadow and depth and bronzer. I do love a good bronzer in real life too. Yeah, I'm on the same layer, by the way. I think I'm on a third layer. So I have my base background layer, which is the sketch, and then I have the second layer, which is that base skin tone, and then I clipped the shadow layer to the base layer, which is what I'm doing now. And when you see me outlining or going over the line work with this reddish brown color, I'm on the background layer. I think the process is very pretty. Sometimes I enjoy the process more than I enjoy the finished product, which is kind of strange. It's kind of like I like makeup, but I mainly like doing makeup. I don't actually like wearing makeup, if that makes any type of sense whatsoever. But like I mentioned before, I do typically draw physical. I'm not good at sketching in real life, which could be I mean, not real life. I'm not I'm not used to sketching on the digital side. I actually prefer to sketch in real life and then upload it to my computer and trace over it in the digital platform, because I'm just not good at it. I feel like on real paper I have more space, I can see everything, and like I said, I'm a sketcher, so I do very messy line work, and then I go over it and I fix everything that way. So here I'm just adding more shadow. I kind of chose to make the shadow pretty dark underneath, so I guess my source of light is coming from right above the face, because I did put a mean shadow right underneath the hair, as you see right there. It's pretty heavy, so we're just gonna say my shadow is on the on the left side, and we'll say the light reference is on the right side, center forehead type thing, because I did kind of forget where I was going to put my shadow points and stuff once I start getting into it. And you'll see as well, I do go back over everything and blur it out and make everything nice and smooth. but again, I'm not sure if that's what I really like, so I don't know. Another tip I would have: always zoom into your art. In real life, when I'm drawing, my face is like maybe 2 inches from the paper. I be zoomed all the way in real life, and so I kind of carry that over to digital artwork. I zoom in to every little thing, and it helps to detail. Like you just saw underneath the lip, it was very messy at first until I zoomed in and was able to target that direct spot, which helps a lot. So I would say to definitely twist and turn your paper, zoom in, zoom out, and you know, just enjoy the process. It can be more than frustrating. I could tell you, I filmed and started this coloring process over maybe 3 times because it just was not working. When I was trying to draw it the first time, I tried to draw it on paper, and then I tried to upload it, and then I tried to draw it digitally and do it that way, and it just was not working. So I was just like, okay, no, let me cut all that part out, and later as I get better, I'll start filming the entire process. But for right now, this all I got. This all I'm giving y'all. I think this is like my 3rd video on my channel. The other 2 are just sped up time lapses of my projects that I did in the IBIS Paint program. So this is my actual first time filming me drawing and coloring, and I don't know, I think it's safe to say I really enjoyed it. I liked it, and I'm still using the textured airbrush. I don't flip back and forth between a bunch of different pens because I get very confused. I try to keep my layers down to a minimum. I delete layers that I feel are unnecessary. If I need to go back and put that layer onto a different layer and then delete it, I will, just to avoid having 20 some odd layers. So here you'll see me go in and add a nice contour to the cheekbone, and I use that contour right there to help eventually blend in that that harsh blush I had put right on the cheek. And then I'm going to go in with my base color to blend everything out, and again, I'm still using a textured airbrush. The best way to use the textured airbrush brush is to just keep changing the opacity of your pen setting. It's easier to blend. The less opacity that you have, it'll just kind of become like a blender, so to speak. I don't know if people are familiar with like the white little wood sticks that you use when you're using color pencils, or when you're using oil-based crayons or something like that. They have this little white wood in the shape of a pencil, and it's kind of wrapped, so to speak, and it's a blender tool in short. But that's kind of how I use the opacity level throughout my artwork. And here I'm using it's called a dip pen, smooth texture. It's kind of like a gel or ink pen, so to speak, and I have my force fade out on as well. And the way that my settings, I guess it's the default settings here on the IBIS Paint app, it's pressure reactant. So the few hairs that I have in the front are very light pressure pen strokes, and then the hair that I use to fill in the actual eyebrow are heavy-handed, which makes the lines really thick. And then I filled it in with my textured airbrush, and I just dropped the opacity again to blend it in. But I do like when the skin is seeing through, or peeking through rather, underneath the eyebrow, so that's why I don't fill it in all the way. And I want you to see the hairbrush strokes as well. And this is another point where I say flip your project upside down all types of ways. I don't know why I do easier hair strokes when my artwork is upside down. I don't know why or where I picked that up from. I think I tried it one day in real life and it just kind of worked for me, and I kind of took it from there. But it's like a thing for me now to do my eyebrows and my eyelashes. When I really want a nice curve in them, I'll flip my paper upside down. And I'm still on that dip soft pen, which again is like a ink pen, gel pen-ish. It's not a sketching pen at all. It can easily become a sketch pen if you put the force fade out on, like you see I have, which is why some areas are thin and some lines are thicker. It's because I have the fade out feature on, and it's my favorite feature to use. But now here I'm just outlining the hair. I'm on a new layer as well. I'm outlining the hair and closing up the gaps. That way I can use the bucket tool to fill in the entire head of my hair. And this is going to be my base color as well. And then I'm going to go in with a highlight color and a shadow color. It's really tedious though. When you really think about it, it's really tedious, but all artwork is, especially if you intend to take your time. It's very tedious. But like I mentioned earlier, I do enjoy the process of it, so it's fun to me. It's fun to a lot of people, which is why a lot of people get into it, or we either watch it. I watch art videos to put myself to sleep sometimes. I'm not even gonna lie. It's really nice. I don't think my videos put anyone to sleep because my voice is a little crusty. I don't know why. I maybe need to make some tea or something. My voice is real crusty today. But I'll come back in once I'm done lining, and then you'll see how it'll quickly fill in, and that's just because I'll use the bucket tool and I'll just tap it and it'll fill in on its own. You'll see, and I'll come back in a moment. Okay, so after I did that, I created a new layer just like I did when I did the skin, and I clipped it to the base layer of the hair color. just like I did the skin, and that's going to allow you to only color in what the bucket filled in on the red hair. Well, it's kind of magenta at the moment, and so I'm adding the shadows first because it's easier, and I don't really know how to draw hair too well. I think I do a pretty good, okay job. I think I just need to learn to embrace the way that I color in hair and stop trying to keep up with the Joneses when it comes to other people's art styles and forms and the way that they color and stuff. Because no matter how hard I've tried, I noticed that my artwork always comes out the same style. I never can really inherit nor pick up a different art form, and I'm starting to realize that, and that's okay because I do like my artwork. I haven't drawn in years. I haven't picked up my sketchbook in years up until this year. Recently I just decided I was going to give it a go, create a YouTube channel, start making coloring books, and just kind of go full-blown career mode with it. And I've only been doing it for like a couple of weeks now, and I'm enjoying the process so far. I think that it's interesting and fun to do something that you love, but hopefully I can make a career out of it. If not, I will be getting me another 9-to-5 soon. But we'll see, only time will tell. The only thing I have to really say about the hair part is after I did these shadows, I downloaded a hairbrush from the IBIS Paint online resources. What that is a platform where they allow everyone who use the website, or use the program rather, they allow them to upload the brushes that they create. Now, I personally don't know how they do that. I don't even know how you guys create brushes on your own. I'm not that advanced nor knowledgeable yet in that department, but I'm going in with this hairbrush, and it creates different strokes. It have like different openings. I'll use a different color in a second for you to see what I'm doing exactly, but I love it. It gives me that wild color. I feel like it was made perfectly for my art form, because I do love wild hair. I don't care if it's like pin straight, I don't care if it's just wavy or if it's in a braid. I love when loose hairs are just everywhere, and I think that it's a staple in my brushes. It's my favorite brush, and I highly recommend it. If you're gonna get the app, definitely go ahead and head over to the IBIS Paint online portal and download that immediately. Now, for the hairline area where I have the little baby hairs and the little swoops or whatever, I'm actually going to go onto the base layer of the hair, which is the bucket layer that I created, and then I'm going to start adding flicks and different hairbrush strokes, and then I'm also going to go in with the textured airbrush pen that I have and fill in that area as well, just to create a hairline and have it look more natural, because right now she's looking a little bald. She's looking a little bald, but you'll also see the highlights and the shadows come to life in just a second, and I'll be back. I also failed to mention, I did in fact forget about that hair underneath the arm and the shadows by her neck. I completely forgot about it. So those are, that part of the hair is not filled in. It is not filled in. I don't know how I forgot it. I don't know how or what I was doing that made me completely disregard that little area, but we'll get them next time. You know, we can't win them all. It was, like I said, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, it had to be going on like 4 at this point. So I think I had been drawing for about at least 30 minutes, maybe 35 or 40. So I was starting to get a little delirious. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, we'll get them next time. I'm filling in the little ball spots at her front now, and I'm pretty much done with adding dimension. You just see me going back and forth on my layers, because if I'm being honest, towards the end I always switch my layers around when I'm done with a project. I kind of just cut different layers on and off. I move layers up and down, which you'll see kind of towards the end, just to kind of see what kind of effect it gives off. This particular project, I actually moved my background layer, which was my base layer with my sketching. I actually moved that layer all the way from number 1 all the way to the very last layer. So it became the top layer in the project. And I don't know, I like the way it made everything more pronounced, so to speak. It really brought out the lips. A lot of the features around the face shape and stuff was brought out. And I just really like the way that it looked for this particular project. Sometimes it does not look right or fit every project, but for this one in particular, it fitted very well. Okay, so now that the hair is complete and I'm satisfied with it, minus the chunk of hair I left down underneath, it's so obvious to me now that I'm looking back at the audio. I mean, now that I'm looking back at the video play, it's very obvious that I left it out, and I don't know how I didn't realize when I was you know what, it's okay. So I moved my bottom layer, which is why my eyeliner became evident as if it was on the top layer, and I decided to do these ocean blue eyes. I don't know what prompted this behavior from me. I just started freestyling after a while. I just started kind of going with the flow. I always say, once your creative juices start flowing, just let them take over. Let them take over. You'll never be amazed at what you can't do. And what you can do is what's going to shock you and amaze you the most. So I always say go for it. And when I'm doing shadows, I keep the same base color and then I just drop the brightness on it, or the highlight portion, and it'll just create its own shadow for the same color. And I'm using, again, the airbrush. The only 3 pens I say I use is the textured airbrush, the hair texture brush, and the gel pen, which I used, I believe is Dip Soft. It's not one that I use every time. I kind of click any gel like pen because they kind of all do the same thing when you think about it. But those are like the only 3 pens that I jump back and forth from. I don't tend to go any further than 3, just for my own sanity. And the eyes are also where I'm going to start using the blurring tool, which I didn't know for sure was going to work, but I gave it a chance, mainly on the eyeshadow, that bright yellow, and I used it to blur it out around the crease of the eye. Sorry, it's getting real dark and light. I think it's my arm. My arm is like in a way, but yeah, this is where I jumped from gold, because I was gonna do just the piercings. I was gonna make them gold, and then for some reason my hand just jumped over to the eye, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I do like it. I mess with it heavy. But I use the blurring tool to blend the eyeshadow. and I really like it. It blends in with the crease color on the base tone, which you guys see right there, and it blended very well with the brown shade that I had used too. So I think and you also want to make sure you put it underneath the eye layer. That way it'll be underneath the eyelashes and you don't have to worry about coloring over the eyelashes and having to do it again. If somebody would have ever told me a redhead with blue eyes was wearing yellow eyeshadow, I would probably look twice, I'm not gonna lie. But this is pretty. It's so pretty. I want to do blue hair or like a green. Maybe we should do like a earthy, hippie inspired look. Next one would be cute. Comment below what you guys think we should do next. I think that may be cute. Some flowers or some tree vine, or even like tree sap or something. I don't know. I like creating different fantasy like characters that don't really make sense. My style, my art style that I've settled with is semi-realism. Growing up, I did just about everything, if I'm being honest. I first started drawing when I was in maybe 12, or I would say the earliest, probably 12, was when I really started getting into it. Artists run in my family. I have hairstylists in my family who do different braid art forms, different locks. I have tattooists. Are they called tattooists? I have tattoo artists in my family. One of my uncles do animation, digital animations and stuff with his drawings and his artwork, and so that's really dope. But yeah, art kind of just runs in my family. And so when I was 12, I kind of got into cartoons first. I would draw what I had seen on TV. Like I would draw Winnie the Pooh, I did SpongeBob, things like whatever it was that I was watching on TV. And then I got into anime, I would say like 13, no, maybe 13, probably 12. I was still doing cartoons at the same time, so I would say maybe 12 or 13 still. But I started drawing Dragon Ball Z characters. That's when I was first introduced to anime. Anime or manga, I'm not sure the difference, and I'm not sure which category Dragon Ball Z falls into exactly, but I started to draw them as well, and I was really good at it. When I got to high school, I took art class and we got into realism, third dimension, 2 dimension, point of reference, different patterns and skills. And so I experienced that and went through those, and I think I finally settled on my own art form, which is semi-realistic. I mix cartoon and anime with realistic features, and I really like it, and I can't stray away from it. I've noticed. I would use reference photos and I would draw them, but somehow they'd still end up similar to this image here, actually similar to this artwork, with the big eyes, the little nose, but I'll have like a realistic ear, realistic eyebrows. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really explain it. It just comes natural though. But the eyeshadow is so cute. Isn't it cute? I'm going to go back in eventually and add the whites to the eyes, fill in the nose, and I think we're going to get into lips first though, because I actually forgot to fill in the white in the eyes because it was looking a little weird to me. And I was like, why did it look like that? But then I realized the eyes are still that orangey brown color. Okay, so here, what had just happened right there, I had tried to use the bucket filter on the lips, but it did not work. It filled in the face instead, and I'm not one to kind of be like, why didn't this work, or what am I doing wrong? I just deleted it and filled it in myself, because I ain't got time for all that. I've always been big on trying to enjoy my artwork, and I've come to realize that digital artwork is a process. It's not, it's somewhat similar to coloring in real life, but it's a process. It's a lot of work. You can get confused very quickly. If you mess up one thing, it's hard to go back and fix it if you haven't noticed it. Like, prime example would be that smudge right on the corner of her lip, the top lip. I don't know where that smudge came from. I don't know what layer it's on. I don't know what color I used to cause a smudge like that. I don't know where it came from. And so instead of trying to figure out where it came from to delete it, I just turned it into a beauty mark. I just turned it into like a mole or something, because I was not finna stress about that. I could not possibly stress about that. I did not know where it came from. But as you can see, the freckles on the face are actually from my wrist, from me twisting and turning the paper to outline or color something else in. I touched the screen with the rest of my hand before my pen actually reached the screen, and that's what those little dots are. And again, I don't know what layers those are on exactly, but one of my signature art pieces always include freckles, mainly because of that reason. And I think that moles and freckles are so cute. I have them on my face all over, not all over, but pretty hefty amount on my face, and so I think it's very cute, and I fill them in on all of my artwork as well. And I think everybody has to go to, like, mine's is wing liner and freckles. That's my go-to. I'll change an eyebrow. I'll even change an eye shape, but it'll always have a wing liner, and it'll always have freckles. Point blank, period. Okay. Comment something down below that you guys always put on your artwork. Like, how do you know if you did something? If somebody pulls your old artwork up right now, would you be able to pick out and say, oh, hey, that's mine, I did that? I know I would. Like I said, from the eyeliner and the freckles, I placed them in very similar places on my artwork, and so I know every time that is mine, because it's like, oh, it's one under that eye, and then one up by the hairline, and one underneath the eyebrow. Like, yeah, that's mine, I did that. But comment down below what your signature drawing pieces are. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to digital artwork, a lot of the digital artwork kind of look the same. I think that people have adapted a very similar style of art, with the button nose, the big eyes, and the big lips. It's like a Bratz doll type of look. And some of us, like me, have been drawing like that for years, but we just never had a category for it, or knew of the category semi-realism, and we were just kind of going off what I just said, the Bratz doll. Which is fine, but I think that it is good for people to always explore. Like I said, I've been through multiple art forms and blended a lot of the stuff that I've learned into a single form of art, and I love that for me. I think I was trying to draw like glitter right here, but my my white pen kept picking up the yellow and was trying to register as if I was trying to change the color of my brush, and it was irritating me, so I just stopped, I think, after a while. So you actually can't even see it. I'm not one for the stress. I'll try it again on a different one though, for sure. If I can learn like a little trick, maybe have like a glitter preset brush, I'll download that and look and see. But I think I'm gonna do blue hair next. I don't know, the blue is calling my name, like a cobalt blue. It's calling me. I don't know. So at this moment, I was tired. It was well after 4 a.m. at this point, and I was over it. If I'm being honest, I was over it, mainly because I had been up the entire day, and then I had decided I was going to stay up to record. I was just over it, so I smeared this bubblegum pink all over this sweater. I was not gonna do pink. I was gonna do brown, but I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I was ready to get done. I was so over it at this point, but and that's why I made the mistake of putting the wrong background color on there too. I do not like the background color that I chose for the artwork, but what's done is done. We would not be going back to change it. Oh, this little hill that I was erasing right here, this is actually it was a desk. The reference photo that I had used she was sitting at a desk, like she was in school or something like that, and had a textbook in front of her. And I was gonna do all of that, but like I said, I had got tired. I was over it, so I ended up just coloring it all in brown, as if it was a desk, and I called it a night. I used a lavender purple, like well, not lavender, it was like a mauve, pinkish purple, mainly purple, to do the shadowing. And I usually do a little more detail work on the shadowing, but I just could not. I was over it. If it was in real life, I would have been scribbling on that paper. When I tell you scribbling, I would have used the entire lead on a coloring pencil to fill this in, because I was over it. All right, so this pretty much concludes this artwork. Right here, I'm just wrapping it up, adding in a little more highlighting. I added a little more blush, like a brighter pink blush. I also moved the base layer so the lips would be more prominent and the outline of the face and stuff would be more prominent, and it wouldn't just look like a smeared airbrush type of artwork, because that's not what I was going for. I chose that strange black background color, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't do a lot of highlighting or shadowing So I do want to go a little harder next time on my next piece, just to get a little more depth. And maybe we'll try the color pencil setting and add a little more texture to the skin and whatnot. Let's see what that get us. But this does conclude this video. I thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put some little tags in there for people who have the audio muted. So the part where it has audio pop up, that's just for people who have the video muted if they want to listen or not. Comment down below some things you want to see, or maybe like an art piece or a tutorial that you may want. I'm pretty good at explaining things. I've always kind of been one of those people who explain very well, make it easier for you to comprehend as well. So if there's anything that you need help with when it comes to the IBIS Paint program, just let me know. I'll film a quick video for you and upload it. Let me know what else you guys would want to see for sure though. Stick around. Definitely subscribe. It's a lot more to come. I also am in the process of making coloring books, and I'm going to be using my own coloring pages eventually to make my own coloring books. I'll be making planners and showing you guys how to do certain things digitally and in real life. So I do hope you guys stick around and stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Comment your favorite part as well. For me, I would say the yellow eyeshadow against the blue eyes is it for me. It's it for me, for sure. But I'll see you guys in my next video, hopefully. Thank you. Bye.